welcome to HITC Sport, and what is the point? What is the point of being alive? I mean, what is the point of international football? Scotland have just qualified for Euro 2020. Scotland. Oh, well done. Last year, they lost 4 games in a row. They lost 3-0 to Kazakhstan. They lost 5 games to the qualifying group. 5. We, by contrast, we only lost 1, and yet they're the ones going through. How is this fair? They were the ones whose defence was eaten alive by Borat's cousins, not us. They were utterly ruined in qualifying. They lost 4-0 home to Belgium. Kevin De Bruyne essentially spent that evening making sweet love to Scotland's national pride. We only lost 1 match, and yet we're the ones spending next summer stuck at home on the couch. 5 defeats versus 1. It's like 2 people turning up to a nightclub. Person A is perfectly sober, the designated driver, and is polite to the bouncer. Person B, by contrast, has been drinking whiskey out of a dog bowl since 9 AM in the morning. They stink of stale sweat and disappointment, and they get sick of the bouncer's shoes. And they let person B in the club? What? Listen, this isn't really about Scotland. In truth, I'm actually happy for you. What a dramatic win over police in Serbia. Great. Go and enjoy your blood and thunder clash with England at the Euros. A quick thought for Scott Brown though. I wouldn't be surprised if his wife had to hide the sharp objects in his house, because he'll probably feel like shoving a pair of scissors up his nose. This is why you should never retire from international football.
Oh, I need to give up playing for my country to concentrate on my club career.
I'm sorry, Brown, but for the last decade, you could have played every game in a wheelchair, and you still have won every league title. And so watching your fellow countrymen reach their first tournament in over 20 years, seeing your Celtic teammates Ryan Christie and Callum McGregor bask in the pinnacle moment of their careers, while you're stuck at home playing Picture Me with the kids. Oh, he probably spent this morning vomiting blood into his bowl of Weetabix. He'll no doubt want to come out of international retirement for next summer, to which the Scottish FA should politely tell him to go and jump in a lake. Now, on to Ireland. I'm just currently stuck at an all-time low with regards to my national team. This should have been an historic week for us. We should have been facing Northern Ireland at Windsor Park, with a spot at the Euros up for grabs. But no, instead this was a week of pointless friendlies, with our national team serving no purpose other than to boost Jack Grealish's ego. Some people will try and tell you that Ireland have looked good under Stephen Kenny, playing nice progressive football. I promise you, if anyone said that in my vicinity, I'd call the police. Nice progressive football. Isn't the aim of the sport to be able to score a few goals? I've sat through nearly 500 consecutive minutes of my life and seen us score 0 goals. Do you know how soul destroying that is? Cheering on Daryl Horgan and Adam Ida and waiting for them to score some goals? You'll be waiting until you're dead. 500 minutes, that is 8.3 hours of football without seeing a goal. I have wasted 8 hours of my life. I could have watched 50 of my own videos in that time, and I'm still not sure which would be more likely to burn out my eyes. Sitting down to watch an Ireland game on TV, it should probably come with a health warning. Disclaimer, watching Conor Hourihane stumble about the pitch for 90 minutes might cause multiple strokes in the audience. I could have watched 8 Adam Sandler movies in that length of time, and yes, that would probably make most people vomit up their lungs, but you know what? That's still preferable to watching Jeff Hendrick on a pitch. Apparently he was linked with AC Milan in the summer, to which I can only assume the AC Milan board are suffering amnesia. They've probably just forgotten that this is a club who's won 7 European Cups. Well, this is a first for me. We had never been beaten by England at football in my entire lifetime. So this is what it feels like. It's like a pig just sat on my diaphragm. I feel like Callum's Corner's girlfriend, just utterly deflated. I always knew there was a gulf in class between both countries, but it's always nice having it officially spelled out for me on national television. What was the point? Whose idea was it to accept this friendly? We've already been dumped out of the Euros on penalties by Slovakia. We've already recently lost to Finland at home. Did the FBI actually think we had a realistic chance of getting a result here? On what planet did they think the perfect tonic to Euro 2020 devastation was to let the fans watch their national team get slapped around like England's soggy chew toy? Choosing to face England with Jack Grealish is in the form of his life. Just nonsense. Does the FBI not understand how debilitating it is to see our midfield utterly paralyzed by fear, coming up against a guy who took a pineapple-sized dump all over our national dignity back in 2015? We all know Grealish rejected us, only after learning his trade in our youth teams, essentially using our underage teams as a set of paddling wings at a swimming pool. So seeing him absolutely torment the likes of Cyrus Christie and Jeff Hendrick and waltz about the park like Zidane. Oh, this was like accepting a dinner invitation at your ex-wife's house, only to see her make love to her new husband on the couch. And now, look at the state of Twitter as a result. They call it a social media device. No, this week it's just a website devoted to excited millennials begging Grealish to quit his job.
Damn it, Jack, why did you have to beat us? No matter, still love you.
I'm sorry. What's that, an Irish flag? Still love ye? I get you're an Aston Villa fan, but Let me get this straight, random Twitter user. Man makes a mockery of the Irish national team, and yet other Irish man still loves him because he plays for his English team of choice. Okay then, this is what I didn't want. This is my footballing nightmare. But it was always inevitable. Ever since he deferred national loyalties 5 years ago. Wasn't it? This was always going to happen. As long as the FAI continue to accept idiotic friendlies, chucking a ramshackle championship standard defence in front of a hungry Grealish desperate to prove his worth ahead of the Euros, you might as well have chucked a bowl of dead cat in front of a starving wolf. What did you all think was going to happen? Watching this game from start to finish, I honestly felt my eyes start to bleed. Just a little. Why didn't I do something else with my evening? Like brush my teeth with soap? I know we're desperately low in quality, Christ above. But Christ, in the past we'd have had players who'd have walked into the England first team. Players like Damien Duff and Robbie Keane. Christ, you only have to go back 2 years to find Declan Rice. But no, nowadays, you have Matt Doherty who might be able to get into England's 6th choice team. And then that's it. How many different first 11s could Gareth Southgate pick before the likes of Hendrick and Hourihane would get a look in? Probably about 35, because Southgate would probably pick the likes of Tom Cleverley and Sam Clucas ahead of them. I know the players aren't there, but usually in the past, the players would still be able to put it up to the English. Christ above, 5 years ago we were keeping a clean sheet against Sterling, Rooney and Vardy, with the likes of Paul McShane in defence. 2 years earlier we scraped a 1-1 draw at Wembley, with an ancient David Ford in nets, and Sean St. Ledger tasked with marking England's record goal scorer. But no, now we're treated to a limp and pretty spineless effort. How has it come to this? When did Ireland just stop producing good footballers? You know what, it's probably because of social media, TikTok and the like. Nowadays, instead of practicing their skills on the street, they're too busy Snapchatting photos of their cat or alerting Instagram to what they're having for dinner. Newsflash lads, I promise you, nobody on planet Earth cares that your mother is cooking shepherd's pie tonight. Now put down the phone, chuck the bag of cookies in the bin, and get the hell outside. Because right now, the guy who's supposed to be the next Robbie Keane is probably too busy playing Call of Duty and stuffing his face with Jaffa cakes. No, go outside, score some goals. Give me some hope. And yes, I realise begging children on the internet to go outside their house probably makes me seem like that weird neighbour who recently bought an ice cream van. But still, I refuse to accept this is the standard of our national team now, and that we're failing to qualify for tournaments that North Macedonia get to. No, not even the whole of Macedonia. No, just the tip. Again, that really makes me sound like a weird ice cream driver. Christ above, last week we had Paul McShane talk himself up for an international return, and you know what? Fair play to him. Yeah, he's 34 and stuck in League One relegation battles with Rochdale. But looking at the other dross we have in reserve, why not? Why not tip yourself for a place in the squad? You might actually get in. Christ above, one of our best players lines out for Wycombe Wanderers. Things were so bad the English were able to bring on the kids. The literal children. Jude Bellingham became the youngest footballer to ever represent England. Great. So now they're even bringing on the modern day John Bostock. That can never be undone. So when he's 27 and playing in the Peruvian third tier, whilst juggling midweek afternoon shifts at River Island, he can always look back and say, oh, I bridged the Irish midfield. Sorry, that's not a bad comment. Calm down, triggered Birmingham fans. I know this guy's a baller, don't worry. Christ above, he's getting in Borussia Dortmund's first team. Maybe Birmingham were correct to retire his jersey after all. Spoilers, no they definitely weren't. He's like dedicating a shrine to your ex-girlfriend who dumped you for a guy with a bigger knob. I want to like Stephen Kenny, but he's the cheap option. Most English people moan about having Gareth Southgate in charge.
Oh, he only got us a World Cup semi-final.
Yeah? How many World Cup semi-finals does £6 million a year Fabio Capello get you to?
Oh, it was an easy road to the final. We only played against nothing teams.
Oh yeah? Do you want a list of teams you haven't beaten in tournament inside the last 10 years? Russia, Slovakia, Iceland, Algeria, USA and Costa Rica. And that's just inside the last decade. So please, cut Southgate some slack. Our manager, by contrast, he's coached St. Pat's under 21, Longford Town, Bohemians, Derry City, Dunfermline Athletic, and Dundalk. Is that really a CV of a man cut out for international football? Is that a guy used to dealing with Premier League or even Championship standard egos? Is it balls? Anyway, that's it, lads. Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.